Women and children screamed and fainted at the sight of him. So horrible was his appearance that he wore a hood and cape to cover his body and only came out after dark. He was displayed like an animal in a cage for people who could pay to see his horrifying countenance. After seeing the freak, many would flee in horror with cold sweats and profuse vomiting. His head was over 3 feet in diameter. His wrist was more than 12 inches. He had a tumor growing from his forehead 7 inches long, giving the appearance of a tusk. His spine was curved more than 9 inches, and his feet grew to the size of 2-gallon buckets. Tumors and leathery gray skin, like unto an elephant, covered 90% of his body. His hips, limbs, and chest had a spongy mass that grew over the tumors, causing the surface to appear like moss growing on a tree. In order to live, he ate potatoes and bread mashed up with milk. He had to sleep sitting up, as the enormous weight of his head would suffocate him if he lay down. He could barely talk and lived in misery every day of his life. With no hospital or medical doctors to help him, he sold himself to a circus for room and board as their primary freak attraction. He was heralded as the great and terrible Elephant Man, said to be born of a mother who was attacked and violated by a bull elephant. His name was Joseph Carey Merrick, and he was 17 years old. Born in 1862, his mom and dad began to see symptoms at age 5, and 100 years later would be diagnosed as Proteus syndrome. His mom and dad farmed him out to a workhouse at age 13, doing menial tasks for room and board. His father once tried to help him sell door-to-door haberdashery, but his appearance was becoming too frightening. So he ran away and found the only people who would accept him, other freaks, and those who would exploit him. After spending a couple of years in freak shows, he had become sick and unable to exist much longer. It was then a medical doctor named Treves discovered him in a back alley freak show and was overwhelmed by the sight of the suffering imbecile. He made a bargain with the proprietor to have Joseph appear at a medical college for examination and teaching. The medical doctors and students had never seen anything so deformed and degenerated as Joseph Merrick. It was thought by all that Joseph was an illiterate and unable to speak, but they soon found out with time and care that Joseph could read and write and recite Bible verses he learned as a child. He was a most kind and loving person. Dr. Treves, after many battles with medical establishment, was able to secure Joseph a permanent bed at the hospital, even though he was classified as incurable. There, for the first time, Joseph enjoyed fair health and supportive people in his life. He even had aristocrats visit his bed from time to time, and he would recite Bible stories and poetry for them. In 1890, at the age of 22, he was found dead in his bed, lying on his back, with his head on his pillow. Above his bed there was a picture of a boy sleeping in a bed. Some believe he wanted to feel normal just once in his life and lay down as a normal person. Others believe he slipped off his pillow and suffocated. Either way, it proves what love and human care can do in a person's life. Just one kind word or a small gesture can change a person's life forever. And once there was a great multitude in heaven, and Jesus the King divided the group into 2 parts, the righteous and the unrighteous. And Jesus said, "When I was broken, you did not help me. When I was hungry, you gave me no food. When I was thirsty, you gave me no water. So where is your compassion for your fellow man?"